Raindrops, yes. Look, Bell Collective is off the chain, and baby, this past episode gave what needed to be given. Hey, Law Roach. But first and foremost, I have to introduce my friend, my Michigander, fan favorite, Raindrop Supreme. His last name is Ross, like the ultimate Supreme Diana. Please
That's
give it up
right.
for my friend, y'all friend, everyone's best friend, Dustin Ross.
Yeah. Now, is this? I know this is the Kingdom Reign Empire. Are we technically in the kingdom right now? Because I want to say it feels good to be back in the kingdom. Okay.
We are definitely in the kingdom. My claw fist is a
Mm-hmm.
kingdom.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. It's
Since
iconic at this point.
I know I'm going to do like a claw fist series, Claw Fist
Mm-hmm.
Chronicles
Mm-hmm.
after dark. No, I'm teasing.
Bring me back for that. Okay. It feels good to be back with you in the raindrops, though, Carlos. Thank you so much for having me again. Thank
No,
you.
you're so welcome. You know, I love recapping with you. And because I am a man of my word, you said,
Mm-hmm.
Carlos, I love doing Love and Marriage recaps with you, but you know, we got to talk about Bell Collective. So
Mm.
I wanted to make sure this moment and the episode was ripe for you to discuss. You saw the episode, you're watching the season. Before we get into what happened, what did you
Mm-hmm.
think about this episode?
Well, personally, for me, we all have different meters that we measure our approval of the episodes and the season by, right? We all have our own metric. For me, this was the best episode of season 3 of Bell Collective, which season 3 is the best season so far to me.
Yes.
These stories and these connections and these relationships are fully developed and developing right in front of our face. And that is what we want from an ensemble reality show like Bell Collective. So I'm so pleased. And this was the perfect episode for me to come back for because I got a lot to say. It was a lot that went down in this episode, Carlos.
Listen, the bells are ringing,
Oh, were
singing,
they?
and they're shaking the brunch table this
Mm-hmm.
season. I People ask me all the time, like, what's your favorite show? And I would never tell y'all, although I may have one, but I will say this. I will say this. There's always a standout show every year that the company produces. I'll say that
Mm-hmm.
much. I'll give that much.
Mm-hmm.
Bell Collective is having its best season. And last season was fantastic, but this season is at its best. And these girls and their husbands, they
Mm-hmm.
just deliver every single moment. And I listen, if I was not a producer of Bell Collective, I would watch the show and fan out like I do all the other shows I recap. So I'm with you when it
Yeah.
comes to this show. It's a stellar cast, stellar production. All the team and the producers and the cast, crew involved are stellar. So let's get right into it, Dustin Ross. So it started off with the continuation of a Ponderosa that involved axe and shade being thrown. So
Mm-hmm.
Marie Monroe,
The
Tambra
one and
Cherie,
only.
no,
The one and only. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Dustin, one day, I would love for you to be on a phone call with me and Marie because she acts the same on the phone like
Let's
this.
do it whenever you're ready. Add to call, and you know
Yeah.
my name. Yeah, the one and only Marie. We started this off with her and Tambra. I guess clearing the air, but really clouding it at the same time, right? Isn't that what was going on? Because I thought that things were somewhat. I mean, we know that Tambra is not Marie's favorite person, right? It's obvious, and it's
Mm-mm.
not something that she tries to hide. And I actually think Marie does a good job at playing the game with Tambra, right? She's not as confrontational as she could be. It's not a hard stop or a full dismissal. It's just she's feeding her with a very, very, very long handled spoon. And then engaging her when she chew. I mean, long, okay, long.
I love it.
My
I had
God.
no idea you were gonna say, Dustin, I had this because Dustin, I want you to, I love Dustin. Dustin, I have a spoon. You know I'm plant-based. So
Yes.
Dustin, I'm so crazy about my fucking diet. I have a mini fridge in my
in your
closet.
closet.
Yeah. So Dustin,
So there's
I,
flatware on deck. Okay.
I keep a spoon to eat my sea moss, but
Yes.
but continue kind sir.
Absolutely. Well, Marie keeps her spoon to fend off Tambra. Okay, that's what she keeps, and she was doing that. But in that conversation, she was very gently poking the bear with some sensitive information that she knew was going to get a reaction or a response out of Tambra, and that's exactly what she got. I think that that scene was indicative of Marie's entire gripe with Tambra in general, right? What it's always been from day one. Marie feels like Tambra is performing essentially or hiding her authenticity from the cast and viewers, and any opportunity Marie gets to shine light on what she believes the truth is concerning Tambra and the relationships that orbit her in her personal life, she's going to take it because she don't like her. Okay. And that's what we saw at that table. And Tambra was affected by that. And to her credit, she had a very honest reaction to it. And she had enough. She maxed out. And so that was a real authentic moment. And I was grateful to witness it. I thought it was great television, fantastic television.
It is though. It was, and Black Twitter last week, even this past Friday, yesterday, it was so interesting because some people feel like, how dare you, Marie, to meet with one of Tambra's stalkers just to get information from her. Marie tweeted that, like you said, Marie and the Bells feel like Tambra doesn't share much of her personal life, and they don't know who she is. Marie said she had no idea that Tambra had a stalker, so she didn't know that until she did the right thing. And this is what Marie said. Marie felt like she did the right thing in terms of saying to her, "Look, this guy and I did meet. He reached out to me. I wanted to know what he had on you." Allegedly. Was Marie wrong in meeting with the guy in general, Dustin?
As hell. Okay. It's the same. It's a throwback or harking to season, what was that, 5 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, when at the reunion Nene checked Phaedra for trying to have that secret meeting with her half sisters behind her back and find out and kind of mine some sort of information that Phaedra assumed, or Marie in this case assumed, Tambra was trying to gatekeep. It was dirty and it was underhanded. And the thing about it is Marie has a life that we don't necessarily get the most clear POV into, right? Her personal life. She shares what she wants us to know. We were all sensitive to and had empathy and sympathy for her and her son's tragedy that they faced. And we love the way that Marie has picked up the pieces and kind of handled the business and shouldered the responsibility of moving the family along and ensuring the care of her grandchildren. We love that story, right? But we don't know a damn thing about Marie's personal life. In fact, there's a lot of really reverberating questions that we hear over and over again concerning Marie's personal life and some of the relationships that she has exposed us to. Yes, we've heard that her and Essie have a above board friendship, and I believe it. I believe they're just friends, but we don't know because there's a definite level of intimacy that exists. That thread is there, you know what I mean? And neither one of them shy away from it. And most often when we've seen that type of connection between two people, it's been akin with or in correlation to a romantic connection. The people want to know. We haven't seen Marie with a male companion since she left the one that she introduced us to briefly at the beginning of the series. So there's things that we could know more about when it comes to Marie. I think she kind of pushes her storyline with her mom to the forefront so that we are kind of distracted by that because it is so deeply personal and you can't help but have it pulls at your heartstrings, right? Because we know that story and we've seen it with other people and we have a sensitivity towards it and a respect. But we still have other questions when it comes to Marie because honestly, we want to know as much about her as we can because we enjoy her on the screen. So of course we want to know who she's dealing with. We saw the blind date that may as well have been casted. Did they put a casting out on Craigslist for the guy? I mean, he was acting. Marie was acting. That must be where they dug that up because that was definitely a new actor. for that scene, and that was cute. We appreciated it, but that's not what Marie's dating life looks like. And we're smart enough as viewers, after watching her for 2.5 seasons, almost 3 complete seasons, to know that. So Marie has a bit of, there's an element of audacity right there that we see when she is as inquisitive and doing as much prodding as she is doing with Tambra's personal life. But again, great television. We have developed an affinity for Marie over this time that we don't give a damn if she's doing sloppy stuff like that. We love Marie. So we're going to excuse it. We're going to acknowledge it as messy, right? We're going to call it what it is, but we love Marie, so we're going to excuse it. Yeah.
What is it that you want to know from Marie that you feel like she's not giving you?
I feel like Marie is just as performative as Tambra is. It's just in a different way. Marie tells us about her business. She tells us about her children. You know, we don't have any updates with the stories connected to her sons. I should say. We don't have any stories connected with an update on what's going on with her granddaughter. We'd like to know that. We would really like to know. Marie's such a statuesque and commanding presence of Black beauty, right? She walks into a room and she fills it up with both her personality and her stature. We want to see what that looks like with her softening up towards someone that she's romantically linked to in a positive way. We saw her separating from her husband, but we've yet to see her actually form a relationship or grow a bond with the gentleman that we know exists in her life. Obviously, Marie is too aware of her beauty and her sensuality to not have that component in her life. She's just not sharing it with us yet. And I'm interested. I want to know.
Okay. Do you think she has a man?
I think she has several.
Yeah.
It's Marie Monroe we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Marie's a weird. Think about it. Think about Marie's personality. Marie is a natural born leader. She's fearless. She's rich. She is, at the top of her professional empire and her professional game. She runs the show that she's a part of, not Bell Collective, but her life show, speaking, theoretically. She runs that. So I know she has more. She's just like a guy would be in that position, the executive who has the relationships that fit in their life where they belong, right? I believe Marie has those too.
So
And
Marie is Dustin Ross.
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. And in the state of Mississippi, like they said on Life, that's right. She is. Yes.
I had to get you there. A lot of people, though, Dustin, they do feel like, well, they're Team Marie. They do feel like Tambra relationship with Damon, they feel like is, as the word you used earlier, casted. Like, it was a cast. Is it a casting initiative? People feel like Tambra, she just doesn't allow anyone in her life. What do you have to say to the people who feel like, no, Marie was right. Tambra gives us nothing, and it's hard for us to connect with Tambra. Is it hard for you to connect with Tambra?
Not for me.
Okay.
And I can explain it. It's very simple for me. Tambra's been working in media and in mass communications for many, many years, right? So there is an element of her creating a persona when she connects and communicates and engages with people that she applies to her professional life. The viewers must remember that this is a show. Tambra's at work when she's on this show. So it's a natural progression, I think, for her to take some of that posturing that she does in radio behind the mic, and it lands in her performance on this show in different ways. And I think that you only understand that if you work in media, and that's not no fault of the audience. People don't work in media, okay? They don't understand that Tambra's on, so much in her life. When she's in front of that mic, when she is hosting her show on the radio, she's on. And to her, when she's filming these scenes for the show, she's on. So there's not, and she's being transparent and she's being authentic, but it is a practice for her that she has done for so many years now. It has become who she is. So that may read or translate as less than authentic to some of the audience and to some of her fellow Bells. But I think that it is directly related to her professional life. When you're pursuing of opportunities like that, you literally it takes over and encompasses your whole life and your whole being. So that's really who she is, but it just feels fake to certain people because she's on when the cameras are on. Maybe to her detriment. Maybe the viewers are right and she should kind of break that down a little bit, but I don't really think she knows how to. I don't. We've seen her in conversation. Think about it, Carlos. We've seen her in conversation with her parents. We've seen her in conversation with Damon. We've seen her with the other Bells that she's been around for many, many years, and it's the same. She didn't act differently with her parents in that scene than she does with the Bells. It's been consistent. So I think it's just who she is at this point, and it may be off-putting for some.
Yeah, one thing Tambra said on my podcast that I thought was so interesting. She said how, like you said, it's how she was trained. You and I grew up in media.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence, excuse me, that you and I are both private.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I do think you are right in the sense of when you are raised in media, you are inherently raised to not be the story, to report the story, right?
For sure.
And although you and I and Tambra included have careers in front of the camera, we're both, you and I included with Tambra, we're both men who just don't share our personal lives to a degree where it is exposed. And on the other hand, people say, well, if that's the case, then get Tambra on reality TV. So, there's a lot of asides to that. One thing Tambra said in terms of Damon, she said a psychic told her when she was dating somebody that she can never be with a man who's a star because the psychic said in your life, there needs to be one star per household. Is that how you feel, Dustin Ross?
No, I don't. I like to be evenly
Would you date a star?
I sure would. Who better than to understand the things that would normally create challenges in relationships with people who don't understand them? If you date another star that understands scheduling and alternative timelines and just things that go along with this business, it takes so much of the responsibility of pacifying feelings and coddling away from it because people just understand. So I definitely would. Plus, you know how I am, Carlos, even in my friendships, like I love for my friends to be successful and driven and ambitious. I like to be amongst people who are fulfilled in every way. So I could totally date another person who was seeking sort of the same type of professional goals, I'll say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dustin's DMs are wide open.
And they are. Okay.
And other things could be wide open if you play your cards right. So, moving on to a person who did not play their cards right, that would be Latrice Rogers. Latrice and SoGucci started off being these bosom buddies last season. SoGucci was recommended to the show by Latrice. Everyone acknowledged it, even SoGucci. So I'm not saying anything out of term.
No.
The reason why I'm saying Latrice may not have played her cards right is because, as you know, Dustin, Latrice closed on a building. I don't know why I'm laughing. Latrice closed on a building while SoGucci was her active real estate agent. But they did not have a signed deal, which people get a signed deal. I don't care if y'all friends, foes, sisters, siblings.
Business
married.
is business. Yeah.
It's a business. But that business situation has translated into Selena from Bring It coming on. They had a big altercation. Selena, who's the ex-wife of JJ, who is SoGucci's current husband. All hell broke loose. Latrice and SoGucci spoke about it tonight. And I know you are a fan of Latrice. Dustin loves
Unashamed.
Yeah. I know. You are a huge fan of Latrice. What was going through your mind as you saw the Latrice versus SoGucci? Who was wrong and who was right in your opinion? Take it away.
Okay, so I think details and facts matter. They're critically important to having an assessment of a situation or to creating your opinion, right? It's very easy to say, hey, Latrice and Gucci were working on this project together, and Latrice went another direction behind her back, and kind of that would lend one to believe that there was a betrayal of some sorts, right, that took place. But as they continued to talk about the situation and more details came out, SoGucci said, and we'll get to her name in a minute, right? But
Ah!
SoGucci said, she said, I came out one time to show you a building, and that was my time. When you're actively looking for a property, especially a commercial property, even on one day, you see multiple properties with your agent. It's not just them coming to show you one building. I don't care how small the town is, okay? And so I really don't think that SoGucci was Latrice's active real estate agent for this project. I think that she showed Latrice a building, and she may have been waiting on a response from Latrice about that specific building. And I think that their efforts were limited to one property. She was not an active agent trying to close the deal for Latrice to secure a property. They were talking about a specific property. And that kind of changes the lens for me. It would have been nice, and I believe in doing the type of business where transparency is paramount, right? I'm going
Yes.
to let you know, hey, I am working with someone else, because I believe in maintaining, strengthening relationships. Actually, when you work with someone that you're friends with, it should bring you closer, not create more distance, right? So I believe in giving people heads up. I believe in just always having open and clear communication. I think that is the misstep that Latrice made in this case. But I think there's an imbalance here when it comes to SoGucci using this transaction that wasn't completed or did not go, they didn't see through to fruition, as an anchor to a vicious, aggressive beef with Latrice. I just think it's imbalanced. If you feel, slighted in a way, that's understandable and reasonable. And I think that would make for a great lunch scene, which they already had. They were outside of the party, and they talked about it. From there, I mean, she just continued to bring it up. So she literally, and there's so much that I like about SoGucci. Let me preface it with that, right? Because I actually like her and Latrice. I liked them together. And I thought that they were great friends on the show. So I think this is really silly. And what I don't like, Carlos, as we've had previous conversations about Love and Marriage Huntsville, I told you before, I don't like it when people are friends on the show and then a minor disagreement takes place and they take it and run with it to vilify the other person. It makes me ask a lot of questions about your intention in the first place, especially considering that we were introduced to SoGucci through Latrice. So I don't really understand why this is such a, point of contention for her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it feels quite performative, which brings me to her name, right? So SoGucci, I think she has everything that it takes, and it's all missing us. It's missing the audience's attention because of her name. Her name makes us take her less than serious, right? There's no reason for us to say SoGucci. It makes us see, it makes her a character as opposed to a person, right? I think she has a dynamic family story. I love the blended Black American family success story. I love the turning point that her daughter and JJ's daughter, which JJ is television gold. We'll get to him in a moment. But I love the relationship between the daughters coming full circle and them now bonding and really existing as sisters. I love that. I love her and JJ's story. I just love that. But I really feel like her naming herself SoGucci and forcing that down us, it just takes away from the authenticity. It makes it feel like everything she does is a performance. And when you couple that with the reach, the extended reach that she's doing with this whole deal going awry storyline, it just comes off less than authentic. And I'm surprised that the other Bells haven't clocked that yet. I'm
Oh,
just surprised. I'm surprised they haven't. I'm surprised the focus is on Tambra and Latrice being less than authentic when SoGucci is right there. When Marie's personal life is right there. When there's other things that we could talk about too, but I'm surprised. So those are my feelings on SoGucci. I think she's a beautiful woman. I love
Yes.
her focus on health. I think that's refreshing to the cast, especially a cast of Southern women who are generally associated with, soul food and things like that, which is great and a part of the culture that I'm going to live and die upon. Okay. I love seeing this fresh take, this health conscious lifestyle. I love that. I love seeing her with her long bone straight hair. It's so flattering on her. But I just wish that we were calling her something else. I wish we were calling her something else.
Well, she goes by SoGucci, Shantae, and Sophia. So out of those three names,
and it's so many. It's biblical almost. It's just a name that continues on and on and on and on. Is it a surname? Is it a what is this legacy naming that's going on? Why are we saying? I'm like Aikisha. How in the hell are we supposed to be cool with somebody call themselves Gucci? I'm just like Aikisha. I like so much about her, but the name I think is throwing us off, especially when you can tell through like certain things with her articulation, and you can just tell it's performative somewhat. And that coupled with this moniker that she's created, it just reads less than authentic. And on a reality show, your authenticity is really your currency, right? It's really what gives you the most value as a part of this cast. So I wish we were calling her Sophia or Shantae. I don't know what the hell her name is.
Well, the government is Sophia. I can say that because we pay her. So that's
okay. So what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? What's wrong with it? Why we can't just say Sophia? Why? So yeah.
Do you think Latrice brought Selena to get into it with Sophia?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think Latrice intended for them to have a physical altercation because this isn't that type of show, right? Although SoGucci, once again, was standing up and what you want to doing and doing all of that at the axe throwing event. And I think she kind of brings that energy sometimes when it's not needed, because she's determined to win an argument. So Gucci is performing. Let's just call it what it is, right? When she gets into these confrontations with the women on the cast, she feels like she has to win an argument to win the favor of the fans. And that's not how you do it. You win an argument by being on the right side of it, not by being the loudest or threatening
not get on the right
whatever.
team.
You got to riding with the wrong team. What if we had a cast where we saw Sophia? We're going to say that because this is my dream cast. So her name would be Sophia, not SoGucci. So what if we had a cast where Sophia and Latrice and Letitia and Tambra had a dinner and they sat down and said, you know what? We don't like the way that this is going. I think it's been unfair the way that our bells have been pushing and prodding into your lives, Tambra and Latrice. And we understand that you have personal things going on. We do too. We don't like that, and we're going to have your back. What would that look like if Latrice, Letitia, SoGucci, okay, and Tambra, what if they all kind of found a common ground in recognizing that some of this treatment and behavior is not the best? What would that look like? What would the accountability look like from Marie, from Aikisha? You know what I mean? What would the accountability look like from some of the other bills? So I just think there's room for some of these perspectives and stories to kind of shift a little bit as we really look at how people are being treated. Tambra's not a confrontational person, and she do be lying. She's been caught in some lies on the show. Okay. We love her. I love all the Bells. First of all, let me say that. I truly do. I love this whole cast, and I think they're all really pretty women. I think I love looking at Letitia when she's just talking to camera. She's so pretty to me.
Yeah.
And the looks are flattering. The hair is flattering. She's got great makeup artists. I love Letitia. I love her story. I love this cast, but I just wish that we would see a little bit more accountability from some of the Bells. I do.
Well, not to spoil it for you, but your suggestion you may see in an upcoming episode.
All right. Hey, it's to me, it's only a matter of time, right? As this thing continues to play out, it's inevitable for someone to say, okay, full stop. What's really going on? Because you're not being met with the same energy from her. So at a certain point, somebody has to say something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen, you're right about that. And that person, strangely, this season seems to be Aikisha in terms of trying to get answers, calling it the way she sees, what she's always done. A lot of people are really into Aikisha this season.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like she is much more likable. I mean, I thought she was likable last season, but I get that
Same.
people.
I did too.
Yeah, but I get that people feel like you came on too strong, whatever. But people are feeling like Aikisha is like the mouthpiece for the audience. So as you watch the episode, you saw Aikisha at this Ponderosa. You saw Aikisha speak to Marie and SoGucci in the kitchen, really trying to figure out what's going on here. What are your thoughts about her and what she's trying to do in terms of her navigation with the girls?
I love it. I just wish it was a little less biased, right? You can't watch the confrontation between SoGucci and Latrice at the axe throwing event at the what did they call it? What did they call the event at when
The
they were
peace
throwing
treaty.
axes? The peace treaty. You can't watch that scene from the peace treaty and not recognize that they were equally contributing to that conversation. And so when Aikisha was speaking about it in her confessionals and completely taking her girl SoGucci's side, which I get, I think part of Aikisha's appeal from day one has been her honesty, right? And her willingness to have an opinion on things. I just wish it was a little bit more fair, because I think Aikisha actually has everything it takes to be real main character energy on this show. The family, the personality, the money, the husband. She has it all. But I think that she is much more upfront and courageous in her confessional scenes and in her group scenes than she is in the all cast scenes. I think that she kind of just sits back and watches what's going on and gives us her opinion on it in the confessionals, as opposed to speaking up in the moment sometimes. And I think that is going to expire quickly. So I'm excited to see what Aikisha brings additionally to the show. And in addition to that, we'll just say it that way.
Giving Phaedra Parks tease the way you described it.
It is. It definitely is. And I don't like that, because I think that Aikisha has what it takes. I think that Aikisha could actually work. We've all heard the stories about her being solicited for other shows that exist in the reality TV universe, and she could fit those other shows too. And I think that speaking further to her credit, right? I think she's an incredible cast member for an ensemble reality show. Yes. Incredible. Yes. I just wish that she was a little bit more upfront at all times, because she really could. Let's be clear that we all know that Letitia is the anchor of this cast, right? Letitia is the leader of the pack. I think Aikisha has what it takes to give her a run for her money, and not in a way of them like being at odds with one another, but just as far as taking away some of the focus from her. Aikisha could do that if she just showed up more when they're all together. If she was the same person in group scenes that she is in her confessionals, may the best bail win. I'll put it to you like that. Yeah. I see that for her. You would think it would be Marie, but it's actually Aikisha. She's a very keen thinker. She's perceptive. And as soon as we heard her mother speak, we understood where it all came from. Aikisha is smart. Okay. She's perceptive. And she got it because her mom made sure she was. And I loved that scene between her and her mom. I love a non-traditional family story. I love the devoted, loyal nature of their relationship. I think that was beautiful for so many people in the viewing audience to see. There's so many people who have so many specific paths of life, right? And I think that was an important scene. It endeared me even more to Aikisha. I love her on this show. So it'll be interesting to see how she develops amongst this cast.
Very interesting. All right, Dustin. Yes. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Look at me. I'm like taking notes. No. We also saw JJ and SoGucci have a conversation just about what's going on with the Bells, in addition to his mother, and setting up the surprise party too for Sophia.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on JJ? God darn it.
God darn. I God darn. I get the God darn. Get the God darn. That's JJ. I think that he is television gold because he's so authentic. And I don't think it's him putting on. You know what I mean? He turns up for the cameras, but in the same vein, of the previous husbands that have been interesting to us on other shows, right? It's the same thing. He's got a big, huge personality. He's magnetic on camera, and he brings a lot to this show. His mom, his daughters, Selena, all that's an extension of him. You know what I mean? And I love it. And I think that he is a willing, he's in the vein of the Peter Thomases, of the Greg Leaks to a certain extent, of the Marceau Scotts, the men who are willing to participate in the minutia of being on a reality show. He's one of them. Case in point, as him and SoGucci were sitting at the table having a conversation about Latrice and Cliff, and he let Cliff have it in that scene. You can't understand what he's saying. He always drinking. He bringing negative energy to it. It just unprompted. As soon as they started talking about it, the mess rolled accordingly, straight out of JJ's mouth. That's what we want from a husband to a certain extent. Keeping it about the husband. He didn't speak on Latrice. He spoke on Cliff. Okay. I think that's going to make an interesting dynamic moving forward. And I love JJ on this show. I think that he is charming in his own way on this show, and I think he's perfect. I don't want anything about him to change. Nothing.
No, he's great. No, JJ is we approve JJ to be on the show because he gave on the casting tape what he gives on the show. JJ is one of a kind, and I never in my life met anyone like him. He is special in the best way possible. We love JJ. JJ also is so special that I personally don't know a man, gay or straight or non-binary, who would have a diggling dancer at their mate's birthday party to celebrate their birthday by looking at a long dingling.
And that's what they were, including Cliff. He was looking too. And let's go there, right? Let's go there. I love that JJ amongst a group of men who have proven to be less than progressive with their views on gender roles and on just women's place in society. I love that JJ is breaking the mold when it comes to that and giving his wife room to be herself. I love that he felt free enough in their relationship to allow her to enjoy that. I love that. I love the contrast that it represents. Look at it with how Cliff and Glenn responded to that situation as opposed to how JJ intended for the situation to be in the first damn place. It was fun and a gift to his wife and to the other women to enjoy. He made sure to extend that offer of enjoyment to the other bills. He was vocal about that. I didn't know why his mama was there, but hey, that's their own business. But I think he's an example in the other men, and how ridiculous is it for someone like Glenn, which I'm team Glenn, by the way. I'm team Glenn and Letitia get back together. I love their family. I think they're a beautiful Black family. I love their unit, and I really hope the best for them. I have high hopes for their reconciliation, full reconciliation. I breathed a sigh of relief and almost shed a thug tear when that test result came back at their reunion and we found out that baby wasn't his, okay? Because the door was open for them to just be happy ever after. But how dare he
with
be
the
same person
happily ever after ... with a Magnum or Trojan or a rubber band
or some, okay? But I love that. I just think that how dare he assume that position to think that he can call and check Letitia about enjoying a stripper that she didn't order, okay, for a party that she didn't throw, because Cliff's ass called him and told him. How messy is that, right? Let's think about it. Cliff is egging her on in the mix, standing next to the trees, focused on what's going on, line of sight, apparent and clear. Okay. We can see that as we're watching him watch it, and telling Letitia to touch the man's penis. But then you want to go and call Glenn to get him riled up as if Letitia is somehow being inappropriate or disrespectful to the thread that their marriage is hanging on by. I just didn't like that. And it was really messy to me. And it was textbook kind of mess to me. Oh, yeah, girl, you do it. And then go back here and call and be sneaky. What kind of mess is that, Carlos? It looked like something that it just looked messy. It just looked messy. I'll put it like that. It was very messy.
And and I want to address my audience too, because some of them have a lot of questions about men on my shows.
Mm.
What I find so interesting is, first of all, these men represent a lot of men, 90% of
Mm-hmm.
them, and some of y'all are married to them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all are related to them. It
Mm-hmm.
it
Some of
really
y'all
is.
are them.
Right, and some of y'all are them, period. Because
Mm.
Dustin, I think I said this to you before. I'm used to women coming up to me on the streets like, when I say to you, more black straight men come up to me now than ever before saying, we love your show. Their favorite, by the way, y'all, is Marceau. It is. Marceau is every straight black man's favorite on any of my shows. They love Marceau, and I
Yeah.
wonder why.
Wonder why that
Anyways,
is.
I digress. I brought this up because I've always said men are sometimes messier than women. Men love to gossip.
Mm-hmm.
Men love to be in women's business. Peter
Mm-hmm.
Thomas walked so all of these ninjas can run.
Absolutely.
Men
Absolutely.
love being so the fact that Cliff is a high representation of married men. How are you going to be at a party egging this woman on? Oh my God, do it, touch it. And then on the low, yo, man, your wife's up here touching dingling and getting Glenn riled up while he's on the towboat, hopefully not on anyone's boudoir. So
Please. And
Glenn
not liking
is
no damn pictures either. Please.
okay with the KLMNOP bra sizes, child.
Okay.
So Glenn is at work at night. You call Glenn, tell him what your wife is doing, and all hell breaks loose. But it goes to show y'all, men are just as messy as women.
Yeah, and he did it with a smile on his face. When he was suggesting to Letitia to reach down there and touch it, he was smiling. He was looking and focused. He loves the mess. And I'm really upset with Cliff because yes, Latrice is my favorite. And I do not appreciate the way that he has been embarrassing her this season. I don't. I don't. I think that him even having him following her to M-Bar, him having a heated confrontation with her like that on set, essentially, it's just disrespectful to her. And Latrice has worked very hard to not allow us to see her be affected by that, but she's clearly affected. She's not even doing a good job hiding it anymore. Her embarrassment and her pain, and him calling her names, disrespectful names, getting physically aggressive, grabbing her arm. I didn't like any of that shit. I hated that M-Bar scene. I hated him having that conversation with her afterward where he said, we're not equal. And if you think we equal, you need to know we're not. I didn't like any of that, Carlos. And Latrice is one of my favorites on this cast.
Mm-hmm.
I loved her, and I loved it when I thought that her and Cliff's non-traditional, relationship was working. I don't like seeing him mistreat her in that way. I don't like seeing anybody mistreat any woman like that, but damn sure not him mistreat her like that. I didn't like that. I also did not like her friend Josh kind of stoking those flames of disdain that existed within their relationship with his commentary. I didn't like that.
Do you think Josh is being messy by talking to his friend about her husband? Or do you think Josh is being protective by trying to tell her friend this is wrong? Like, where do you stand as of right now when it comes to Josh's involvement in the Rogers household?
You hear them sirens?
Ah!
They on their way to get Josh ass up off of this Bell Collective season 3 right now. Okay, that's how I stand. I'm driving that siren sounding vehicle right now, going to get Josh up off that. So that's how I feel. Carlos, you're my friend. If we're filming a show and I know that you're going through some personal things, first of all, I'm only going to talk about it on the show if you told me you want me to. That's how you protect your friend. Second of all, if I do decide to, if I am inspired to initiate that sort of dialogue with you, it's going to be so clear that no one even has to ask what my intentions are, what my position is with the questioning. I'm not going to disrespect you or your partner, no matter how I felt about them in my questioning of you. And I will reassure you through the way that I said the things that I said to you that that was my intention. We didn't see that from him. And he's a grown ass person. And we didn't see that sort of maturity level and respect in friendship from him to Latrice. I didn't like that. I thought it was messy. And I thought that he was using something that's very real. Because again, what we saw from Cliff towards Latrice at the M Bar in the parking lot, that was real. And whatever Josh was referencing in episodes 1 and 2, when he first was having those conversations in Latrice and Cliff's damn house, which is wild to me that he was even talking about that in their fucking house. Excuse me. I don't know if we can say that on here.
It's fine.
Yeah. But like he was having those conversations and it was messy. He was smiling and she had a nervous laugh. He was smiling and making faces and doing things to suggest that this was less than serious while they were talking about some really serious, sensitive shit. And so it just did not read as concerning and loving and caring to me. To me, it read as messy. I know that I'm on camera. We're going to talk about your mess and be messy on camera. That's what it read as to me. And it turned me off. You know, I'm not saying that's the right POV for everyone, but that's the takeaway that I had. I'm not going to air my friend's business out in the name of being concerned. That's not how you show concern and protection to your friend. It doesn't look like that. So I definitely thought that he was being messy. And speaking of his mess, I loved when I'm gonna call her SoGucci this time. That's how proud of her I was. At her birthday party, when Aikisha, Josh, and SoGucci stepped outside for a minute to have a brief conversation, and Aikisha started this pointless story about relaying to SoGucci that Josh and her had a conversation where she had felt like Latrice wasn't being a good friend to him because he was telling Latrice's business, which he shouldn't have been doing. Aikisha has nothing to do with what's going on. Her and Latrice ain't even cool like that. So he was definitely being messy telling her that. I think Latrice was spot on when she said, he ain't your friend. He's your makeup artist. Ooh. He's Latrice's friend, but he's her makeup artist. And you can tell by their banter and rapport with one another, all that, yes, honey, and all that stuff. It's surface. It's not anything indicative of a real bond. It's what they think they're supposed to do in relationship with each other to be funny, I guess, or whatever, but it's just not real. And so I loved when Aikisha and Josh were telling this ridiculous story to SoGucci, and she said, well, we're going to have a good time tonight. Shut it down immediately. Immediately. She said, well, but we're going to have a good time tonight. I know that. And went right the fuck back. She didn't even offer a word to that shit. And we never heard anything else about it. Next scene you see, Josh is in there dancing. Aikisha's breaking it down. Marie dancing, had me rolling the B-roll of Marie dancing at that party. Priceless. Latrice and Marie saying hello to each other.
Yeah.
Hey, Marie, hey, Trice. That all of that was hilarious. That was gold, reality TV gold. So I'm more interested in that. I definitely think that he was messy.
I love that. No, listen, this episode, like you said, was on fire. One of the best of the season. We have more to come. And again, y'all, Bell Collective now has a new time, 9:00 8 Central, right after an all-new episode, Ready to Love.
Yes.
And you can catch it every Friday, 9:00. It is, I love this show. I
love it too.
We're getting ready for the reunion soon. And
well, I have a question about that because now, you know, I'm an eagle-eyed viewer, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what you can share about this, but I just want to know what you think about these Easter eggs that I've noticed, right? We know that it's a choice, right, as to what dialogue we are exposed to as viewers from amongst the Bells, right? You guys pick and choose what words we hear. We've heard twice now Tambra be asked, you know, do you want something? Are you drinking? Do you want to drink? And she's gotten water twice. In the teaser for the season, we see an ultrasound. We see someone saying there's an arm. I know I'm not crazy. Is the Bell family going to be renewed in a way that viewers may not be expecting soon?
What I will say to you is keep watching every Friday, 9:00 8. This reason I love talking to him. By the way, this ain't produced. I really be like, what is he about to ask me? Because I don't lie, I just be like, I ain't asked her a child, but I'm laughing because you are so good. You notice things that I'm curious if other people have noticed. And you reverted back to a super trailer that came out months ago and said, "Now look here, child.
I'm
I
following
put
along.
I'm putting two and two together and it equals four on my pad. So I
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that I am seeing things the way y'all are delivering it to me."
I just wonder. I wonder if the bells are going to be ringing in that way.
Well, you know, I
I'm
would
looking
love
forward to the
for
reunion.
we would love for like, a
Mm-hmm.
ring, or we would love
Mm-hmm.
for a
A Bell baby. It'd be our first Bell baby, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to watch every Friday at 9 o'clock Central on the Open Winfrey Network.
I have another question for you too, Carlos, because
Oh
I
Lord, what is
love
it?
I love Bell Collector's position in your portfolio, right?
Yes, thank
Of
you.
products from Kingdom Reign Entertainment. I think it really stands on its own. I
Thank you.
think it's such a strong, formidable show. And I just can't help, that it's associated with the connotation of Southern bells, right? That's a region. So do the bells only ring in Jackson, Mississippi, or are we going to be hearing bells in the distance? That's what I'll say. Do you hear any bells ringing in the distance, Carlos? Because I know how you get down. So I just wonder, you know what I mean, how far reaching the sound of the bells ringing is going to go. South is a big place, so many other thriving locales. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Let's just say they don't call me the king for no reason. Don't think that. Look,
I love it. Enough said. Enough said.
I love bells, and I would love to ring all across the southern region.
I would love them to as well, and especially considering like the intention of the show, right? The improvement of Ferris Street. That story is just so strong, and it's one that goes through. It echoes through so many regions. I just was in Tulsa, on speaking on a panel about Blacks in Media on
Oh,
Juneteenth.
from Devon Christopher, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Shout out to Devon.
Yes.
But while I was there, I was just exposed to so many rich stories within that region, and I was just thinking like, wow, this is another place where this would be, a great city to explore. And I just started thinking about other areas in the South, excuse me, that kind of replicate that story of rebuilding and reestablishing Black wealth. And I know there's so many thriving pockets within the South that have, stories which are similar, maybe not the same, but similar, and are told by dynamic women. So I don't know, just an idea. I just wondered where the bell's going to be ring-a-ling-a-linging elsewhere. That's all I wanted to know.
I don't know why I thought about Destiny Child Christmas album when you said ring-a-ling-a-ling.
Well, doesn't it sound like Christmas? Okay, Carlos? Because I love these bells. I love them.
No, listen. I
Tell
love them
Letitia I
too.
love her. Tell Letitia I love her. I think she's
Oh,
beautiful.
she's so
Tell
sweet.
Latrice I love her. Tell Latrice when her and Tambra had that scene sitting down and she was like, I feel like we're public enemy number 1 and 2. I saw the making of a dynamic duo. I saw the makings of a dynamic duo. I did. I'm interested to see what happens moving forward. So
and Dustin, it happens.
Yes.
That it does. The alliances and the dynamics
Let's go.
are shifting, and it's good to see. Well, Dustin, I
Yes.
love you. I
I
thank
love
you
you
so
too, friend.
much for hopping on another edition of Reality of the King Bell Collector Recap. Your first one of
Yes.
many.
Oh man.
Always and forever, I'm appreciative of you. But let the world know where they can find you, follow you, support all of the things you have going on.
Thank you so much, first of all, Carlos. I'm eternally appreciative of your platform, and I love having conversations with you about any damn thing. So talking about these shows is such a blessing. Thank you, brother. You can catch me on Wednesdays everywhere podcasts are heard as 1/3 of the Friend Zone podcast, which is turning 8 years old next month in August. I can't believe it. It's done so much for me and my life. I'm so grateful for that. But you can catch me, Fran and Asante, there, the Friend Zone every Wednesday. Also, me and my girl and yours, Ebony K. Williams. You can catch us every Wednesday on Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams from Interval Presents and the good folks at Warner Music Group. And you can also catch me as a host of season 2 and hopefully season 3 of Bet on Black on Revolt TV. That show is streaming now on the Revolt platform and Revolt's YouTube channel, and it's about giving money away to Black entrepreneurs. So
yes,
watch it, soak all that Black goodness up. And that's it. You can also catch me in front of my damn TV on Fridays and Saturdays because I can't get enough of the good things coming from Kingdom Reign over at OWN Network. So that's where you can find me, in front of my TV with the bells and with the people that's in love and marriage in every city. Okay.
yes.
We got to talk about Detroit. We got to talk about Detroit. I might have to fly out there, and we're gonna do that in person. Okay, we're gonna be in studio. Okay,
yeah. You'll be the first guest at the Columbus, John.
I can't wait.
As 2 Detroit boys, we gotta talk about Love and Marriage Detroit, baby, baby. They ain't playing with y'all at all.
I mean, how did you know? Anthony is such a, I mean, you just did it again. Anthony is one of the ones. He's one of the ones. Brandon, one of the ones. Latoya, Dr. Thompson, when I tell you that slick under, you gotta really pay attention to catch it. What?
No.
Colby.
Go ahead.
It's so much. So when it's time for that, we will definitely open that all the way up. We're gonna do a deep dive, baby, into the Detroit River. Okay.
We definitely are. Dustin, I'll say this to you in the world. I just taped the reunion because we tape it early, y'all, so we can edit it in time for it to air.
Yeah.
I'll just say this thing. Latoya Assassin Thompson.
Who didn't see that coming? Who didn't see it coming? The way she played those first 2 episodes low like that, I said, when she come out this gate, I just saw it. And it's real to me.
So tonight's episode, let me tell you something. Tonight's episode, Love and Marriage Detroit, is no cap one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Is where Brandon is going to call Colby a Kobe cat. Russell threatens to break his bones. Latoya gets into it with the girls. I like it. I like it when the men and women have stuff together. And it affects everybody. First, like the girl got beef, and the guys are like, that's on them. No. What happens in tonight's episode at 9:00, it affects all the couples. And
I'll be glued.
It's good. No, Dustin, I'm going to bring you back to talk about Detroit.
I can't wait to do it. I have so much to say to you. In fact, some of it I need to text you because I can't say it on here. So I'm going to be looking out for a text from me regarding that. Okay.
It'll be between us. All right, Dustin, thank you so much, brother. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, brother. Much love to all the raindrops. I have so much love for y'all. Thank you so much for enjoying our commentary. Yup. See you next time, Carlos.
See y'all next time.